Come on. All right, come here. Good girl. There you go. Can't figure this thing out yet. Well, so I really wanted Max to have the same experiences that I had when I was his age. The only problem was that LA and my hometown had changed quite a bit in the last 30 years. Hardly any of the kids I grew up with could even afford to live in the Palisades anymore. We couldn't afford to live there if we weren't living in my parents' house. You can't have fires, alcohol, or dogs on the beach, or even be on the beach after 10 p.m. So no more beach parties. And the worst of it all was when the city forced us to take our catamarans off the beach. So no more sailing. Kids don't play on the street anymore. I guess people are afraid they'll be kidnapped, or there's too much traffic, or I don't know what. But now you arrange a play date in advance and you drive your kid to the other person's house. Kids are driven everywhere. They don't ride their bikes to get around anymore. I'm pretty sure I know what happened. It's pretty simple. You got twice as many people living in the same amount of space. So there's less room for error. There's less margin in the system. So you got to have more rules, more regulations, more lawyers. The thing about it is that it happens slowly over time, incrementally. So you don't really notice it that well. I mean, it's like the frog in the pot. You're cooking the frog in the pot, but you just don't throw them in the pot and boil them right away. You put them in the pot gently, a little bit of water, turn the heat up real low, water gets nice and warm, and the frog relaxes, feels downright cozy in there, right? Probably falls asleep, has no idea he's being cooked. Now, I'm not saying that everybody in LA is getting cooked to death. I'm just saying that everybody's so distracted with the latest tweet or YouTube video that they don't realize what's being taken from them, what they're losing. I probably wouldn't have realized it either if my son hadn't been born. And I started comparing his childhood with mine. Well, I just thought it was kind of sad that some of the things that I took for granted when I was his age are just gone now. Then there's the whole computer internet thing. My son started playing Minecraft, and later he got into watching YouTube videos. He would get furious when I told him to get off the computer. Really mad. It was like he was getting addicted to it, like it was a drug that he was hooked on. You know, these days it's like there's two worlds. There's the real one, and then there's the virtual one. And more with Max, I saw him being seduced by the virtual one and kind of detaching from the real one. And that's not good.
So while I'm having these thoughts, every year we are visiting Andrea's family in Argentina. Andrea has three brothers. Two live in Cordoba in the middle of the country, and one lives in Posadas in the north. In December, which is their summer, we would rent a house in the country, and the family would come and visit us on weekends. The Sierras outside Cordoba are covered with these idyllic lakes and rivers. We'd spend the day on the river, sipping mate. My brother in law would barbecue up some delicious Argentine beef, and Andrea and I would just chill out on a rock in the river.
Now, even though it's completely different, there's something about Argentina that reminds me of the LA I grew up in. Grittier and poorer for sure, but there's something about the sense of freedom here that I remembered from my childhood. And the country is beautiful. There's Patagonia in the south, the Lake District, the Central Pampas, the Paraná River, Iguazu Falls, and of course our Cordoban Sierras. And there's so much that we have yet to see. When we found this place, we bought it. For a vacation home originally, but, well, one thing led to another, and here we are. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said this has been a walk in the park. We've had to get through some tough times. But I'm still hopeful that my plan for Max will pan out. You know, living on the other side of the world and building a house in the middle of nowhere, there's a little bit of miracle there. Maybe he'll realize that if you believe in yourself and take a chance, things might actually go your way. And living in a foreign country, well, he's had to adapt to a totally different culture. And living in a developing country, he's had a front row seat to how the other 80% of the world lives. And he's done a fantastic job. His Spanish is flawless, and he's made tons of friends. And the familial relationships that he's developed here, well, his connections with his aunts and uncles and cousins, those will last for the rest of his life. And maybe he'll look up from his computer and see the world around him and fall in love with nature and the outdoors, as I did when I was his age. Especially if it's literally right outside his bedroom door. Well, that's kind of the why. Now, let's talk a little bit about how he designed and built La Colmena.